the problem is and I saw it again yesterday. Americans are offering, like the Victor Bout dude is really bad.
This guy is not one that you want to let go.
Really bad, and it's like
In fact,
you're offering.
he only has like another 14 years on his sentence, and you're thinking that's not enough.
No.
Right? This guy went out of his way to find the most heinous people that hated Americans more than the life itself, and were willing to do anything. They were willing to wear this stuff and just roll into whatever building they could to blow up as many Americans as possible. This was the kind of guys that this Victor Bout or Boot was seeking out. All right, you couldn't have a more heinous criminal. It sounds. I don't mean to make light of this, but it is true that trading Brittany Griner as a political prisoner for Victor Boot is worse, more lopsided than Joe Barry Carroll for the chief and the rights to Kevin McHale. Who's making this deal? Red Auerbach? For the Russians? My God.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Not normally I want to blow our own horn, but I think we are providing people with many, many moments of just outright clarity here on the show of late. Because that is true. I mean, that is more lopsided than Joe Barry Carroll for the chief and the rights to Kevin McHale. Brittany Griner, who we sympathize with, even though she was very anti-American and outspoken about what a rotten country this is and how it needs to be fixed. That's fine. I don't know that she was saying I don't want to be an American. She was more or less protesting inequities and injustices that we all know are taking place on a daily basis. Yes. If not all around the country, certainly many places in the country, every single day, there's something rotten is happening to somebody that is unjustified. We see it all the time. All you have to do is watch the first 5 minutes of the news. You see cops hammering on some guy like George Floyd, same type of thing, shooting a guy in the back who's doing nothing, doesn't have a weapon. I mean, we see all of these kind of things, atrocities taking place all the time, which is unfortunate because it's been exaggerated. It used to be an isolated incident. It's much like the mass shootings that we talk about all the time. Right? Something like that would happen, and you were just, it was mind-boggling. You couldn't even conceive of it. And now we tend to shrug our shoulders, as they keep putting the stats up. There have been like 225 of them in the first 225 days of the year. You're like, well, how is that possible? You can't even keep track of everything that's going wrong in this country. So certainly entitled to have her opinion and protest it as long as she's doing it peacefully. But that is a lopsided trade. That Victor Boot is no bargain, my friends. And dumb move on the part of Brittany Griner. What was it, a setup? I don't know. Seems to me she admitted that she packed the stuff in there. Who knows? Maybe she had gone through the airport 50 times before and nobody said anything about it, but all of a sudden it became an issue. That's possible, and that's the chance you take when you're doing something like that. Going into a country that obviously we have many, many hostilities towards at this point, exacerbated by the war in the Ukraine and other things, where Putin suddenly seems like he's gone out of his mind. So does he care if they snare some basketball player from the United States and give her 9 years for doing nothing, essentially? Nothing of any real consequence in terms of being of a criminal nature? No, he doesn't give a flying one, right? He figures, you know what, I'll call Joe and see if we can't get Victor Boot out of the slammer.
Yep.
Boot! My goodness. The world has gone insane. It's unfortunate. It's one thing. I mean, you don't want to be totally ignorant to everything that's going on in the world. But the inclination to just disappear and go to some place, non-extraditable country where nobody can contact you except the people that you really want to, sit on a beach somewhere, kind of like Timothy Robbins at the end of Shawshank, right? Where you're polishing up an old boat and waiting for Red to show up. So you'll have somebody to talk to, but otherwise you're on your own. Living a nice, quiet life peacefully somewhere where nobody can find you, essentially. That's becoming more and more appealing, or at least seemingly so. I was always a very sociable animal, Lubie. I know you are too, right? I like being around people.
Yep.
Talking to people. I mean, here we are. This is what we do for a living. We talk to people like you. And thank you very much for tuning in here on South Florida Live. The Defo Show. We've started the last couple of days with some tirades. I love this, though. I mean, and the clips, it's just so insane, this stuff that comes from the Republican backers of Donald Trump's every move. Now, I don't know that this was any big travesty that the FBI showed up at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, they had been in talks with Trump's people trying to, get to the bottom of when they could get their stuff back. Basically, we have an issue with this right now, Lubie and I, where we're trying to get our stuff back from a guy that we did some business with. It didn't really work out. The stuff is of really no consequence to him. And then all of a sudden, we're not getting any response. Every time I say, hey, just casually, you mind if we drop by the studio there and pick up the microphones that we left there? We could really use them now because we actually have another project that this stuff, which was not of any great value to us, although we had paid for it or stolen it from the previous radio station. But, whatever it was functional equipment that we used at a time. Didn't seem to have any function anymore, but now it does. With the traveling circus that is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. I mean, we're all over the place with that, including today. Where are you going to be? You're going to be in like Deerfield Beach.
Deerfield Beach, near
at a Laotian restaurant. Laotian.
Yes.
Wow. I see. I don't know that I have a sophisticated enough palate to distinguish between food from Laos and food from, say, I guess Mike keeps comparing it to Thai food.
Yeah.
Which, even Thai food to me isn't always the most distinguishable from other forms of, say, Asian cuisine. Is that a fair statement?
And I guess pad Thai and the curries, red curry, is different than something you'd get at like a Chinese restaurant. But the rest of it, it's all very similar. Rice and noodles.
Yeah, it's all the same shit to me. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I like this stuff. And I would imagine this place is going to be great. I wouldn't mind jogging up there. It is a bit of a schlep for me, so I'll probably pass on this one because my role on the show is filled not even very capably. I mean, in exceptional fashion, and setting the pace for all who should be in broadcasting. The lovely Nikki Mohan, who of course you saw for years and years on Channel 10, ABC down here, the ABC affiliate, and she did a marvelous job. And you could tell she just has it right. She's got the gift of broadcasting. I mean, she really is very appealing to virtually everybody because she just has one of those personalities that exudes enthusiasm for life as she's coming to you through, in this case, our screen here on your computer or wherever you're watching the show on South Florida Live. So that'll be great. And then tomorrow we really have a spectacular. And I don't know, can we invite people to come out? Tommy T says, yeah, go ahead. Invite, I don't know, can we invite the general public? How many people are actually going to show up for that?
I don't know. The professor I invited because I know he's a part of the show and he loves Cajun New Orleans food. So I definitely was inviting him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was supposed to have like dozens and dozens of people.
Well, I mean, that would be the fear that the show is so popular that maybe like 50 people show up, and all of a sudden Tom Tanazzini, very generous offer to make a delightful, array, a veritable smorgasbord of all kinds of New Orleans delicacies and New Orleans cuisine, which, we're a little worried about Mike Mayo at this point. Because, we don't want to see him go Butterbean Esh. We really don't. We don't want to see him being compared unfavorably to Butterbean Esh's physique. You remember Butterbean Esh, of course, the king of the four-rounders.
He's like 400-something pounds.
And at least he was working out in the gym, Esh. So we're a little worried about that. But that's going to be, what is it called? Nobo Brewery?
Yeah.
In Boynton Beach. And we'll be up there tomorrow. And we're going to have Mike Mayo's Lunchbox live from there. And there will be a New Orleans cuisine and a lot of very excellent stuff coming out of Tom's Louisiana Kitchen there tomorrow. So look forward to that. And I don't know, if a handful of people schlep up there, that probably wouldn't be any...
He said family and friends
harmful consideration. Oh, yeah?
Okay. I don't know if like family and friends bring family and friends bring family and friends. Sometimes that happens.
The only freebie artists worse than us are the people that watch us do this stuff and listen to it. And Have You No Shame. That's one of my favorite Albert Castillo songs. And, sometimes you have to wonder, right? When I just remember when I was doing a remote one time and we had like the stalest rolls from some restaurant that they had brought. And that was part of the food fanfare that was being featured. They always promoted these things on the radio stations. It was WIOD at the time. And they would say, yeah, there's going to be food and gifts and prizes. And essentially, that was a bunch of bullshit. There was a little bit of food. The gifts were essentially non-existent. And the prizes were stuff that they found somewhere in a warehouse from the radio station when it had a different set of call letters. Right? So
that wasn't even the right station.
That wasn't even the right station. It was a joke, right? We did have those autograph cards, right, where they had a picture of all of the, so-called on-air personalities, talent, whatever. And so you could get a solid picture of the guy and get a signature on it if that's something that you want. And that was kind of a nice touch. We never had that. When we were at 940 Wins for the last 10 years, they were too cheap. I don't even think we had like a business card in the beginning. You did. You had one with your
I
name
got a
on it
card
that you were able to
eventually.
hand out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was cool. But other than that, we really looked like a bunch of poor schleppers compared to everybody else. So that was it. But no, and it always amazed me how people would come there. And I remember one lady, I was telling her, these rolls are stale, man. You don't even want them, ma'am. I mean, I'm happy to give them to you. All right. So she takes like a half a dozen of these rolls. They were like
Jeez.
dinner rolls.
Oh my God.
And like a half hour later, she comes back with her husband, and she wants to get another half dozen because now he's there.
Oh my God.
I just gave her the whole box.
Yeah,
I was like, take them. No, nobody wants this shit.
they're all
You
yours.
want it, you can have it. What are you going to do with a bunch of stale rolls? I mean, literally, feed birds? They didn't even want them, right? Seagulls were dropping down, and we were throwing these rolls up in the air, and they were like, we'll just go see if we can catch a fish somewhere.
Oh my God.
Anyway, that's happening tomorrow. So I guess I'll throw the invite out there. First come, first serve on that kind of thing. I mean, if you get shut out, our apologies, but there will be some food around, and it's going to be New Orleans style. It's going to be delicious. Tom Tanazzini. I can't wait to try some of this stuff because it looks fantastic on Mike Mayo's Let's Eat South Florida page. Looks absolutely delicious. And every time this Tom puts a picture up, I'm thinking, I'm in New Orleans, which I will be, by the way, Lubie. How about this one for a casino? Come on. I still can't even imagine what kind of money the Mustang is sending through these machines where now a guy just calls arbitrarily out of the blue and says, hey, I see August 23rd is your birthday. Why don't you take a trip to New Orleans on us? I'm like, what do you mean on us? Says, yeah, free room and airfare too. We got a couple of seats for you on a plane. I mean, that's too good to turn down, is it not, Louis? Even if I dropped a couple of dimes while I was there, I consider it worth it, right? Free airfare and accommodations in New Orleans. How are you going to say no to that? Nah, not really interested. Because I love floating around Bourbon Street there. I mean, I'm a French Quarter kind of guy. I get up there to Frenchman Street also. We managed to catch some pretty good music there the last time we were there. It's not always, the most exciting thing, going on, but and some people would say, it's a limited area there, and once you've eaten a couple of oysters, you're pretty much done everything. I don't believe that for a second. I just really enjoy that town and the vibe that's there. So, and I like some schmutz. I really do. I like the smell of vomit there in the streets. I don't know. It reminds me of growing up in Brooklyn, where you could tell what neighborhood you in blindfolded just by the scent. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is where the Jews are, the Puerto Ricans. I mean, you just knew. You could tell by the smell what was going on. Speaking of which, I didn't realize that this was an actual guy, Luby, and he wasn't. The reason I know this is not because of any Deadpool activity, although it would have been possible that somebody might have had this guy's name. But for years, I've been using this cologne, Miyake, right? And it's like Issey. And then another word, Miyake, Miyake. And I always thought it was just like a goofy name for a cologne. Didn't you? There was
Yes.
actually a guy named Issey Miyake. And he was a well-known designer. And he just checked out the other day. He was a fashion designer. He also delved into cologne. And the first time I heard of it, I was seeing a girl, and she wore a Miyake. And I was just absolutely, I mean, this scent to me was like catnip, my friend. I could not avoid, being in physical contact with this woman. There were other reasons for that too, but I mean, largely driven. I mean, at first by this incredible scent, and then my son, it turns out, had the male version of this, and I would have to say, Luby, and you'll find this surprising, but every now and then, somebody leans in, you don't even know whether to like give them like the token kiss or whatever, a member of the opposite sex, or and almost universally, my most often heard comment from people is, "Wow, you smell great,"
Nice.
which is surprising for me because there's no reason for me to smell good. None, man. I schwitz. I'll leave the same clothes on. I don't care, right? Go do the walk of life, keep the same shirt on, go play tennis, and then go out to eat. That's that's me, right? Maybe even pull one out of the laundry basket. I don't know how many people out there pull their shirt out of the laundry basket today.
It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened.
You're going to wear that same shirt again? Yeah, pretty much. Every day. It's the only one that fits well, that I don't feel like I look fat in. You know that feeling.
Yes.
But yeah, Simiyaki, a very good male scent. I believe it is. I think it's great. I don't know. I've enjoyed using it forever. But I didn't realize there was an actual guy named the Simiyaki. Did you? Would you have thought that?
No,
Issey
no.
Miyaki.
That was just like a name that they pulled out of their ass.
Yeah. That's what I figured. Yeah, right. It was like one of those things where Johnny Depp, was doing the commercial, and he. Why would you think that it was advantageous to advertise some kind of scent or aroma by having Johnny Depp digging graves in a desert somewhere, and you're thinking, "Wow, I'll run out and buy that cologne. That looks good. Maybe I can join Johnny out there in the middle of nowhere, like he's tripping on some kind of peyote button that was rejected by Aaron Rodgers, and he's digging graves, and but he smells good while he's doing it, even though there's nobody around. How would anybody know, right? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, does it make a sound? I'm not sure. All right, many things happening. We're going to do the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We're going to go head to head today. I have a couple of sets of questions. Gurgle's not with us on the show today. He is off in the Poconos playing golf. He's on one of his wild life adventures, and we respect this 1,000%. Because if you're going to live your life, go ahead and live your life. Get busy living, or get busy dying. Right out of Shawshank Redemption.
Exactly.
Could not put things any more clearly. Get busy living, or get busy dying, people. Stop fetching and sitting around and getting stuck in the same old syndrome. And every day you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, my life. Go out there and do something about it. And that's what Gurgles does. So he's off playing golf, and then he's going to Saratoga. So he will not be with us for the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, although I know he loves it. And I came up with a couple of sets of questions very quickly. Two of them involve Vito Antifermo. So you might want to look into that. I mean, how lazy could I get? But to come up with a couple of Vito Antifermo questions, which I don't know that any show pays as much homage to the great Vito Antifermo, who essentially won a bunch of fixed fights during his career. I mean, the guy was worse than the Bayonne Bleeder. He made Chuck Wepler look like, he never suffered a cut in his life. Seriously, I mean, he was one of those guys. Arturo Gatti and Vito Antifermo, two guys that I met, and when you shook their hand, they started bleeding from the right eye. Gotti was still in his prime when I met him, and Antifermo, of course, had been retired for many, many years. Had the classic fight with Marvin Hagler where they fought to a draw in a championship fight. Many people thought that was rigged, but the mobsters that eventually started testifying about Antifermo's connections and mob ties, because his contract, I guess, his career was kind of run by mobsters for the at least early portion of it. And there were many curious results, including the fight in which he won the middleweight championship of the world. A very, very curious series of scorecards coming in. It was Adelaide Bird City. And that was also the case. I mean, you remember that people were outraged. I think Cosell might have been doing that fight, either Cosell or Keith Jackson on ABC when Hagler and Antifermo fought it out for 15 rounds in Las Vegas. And everybody thought Hagler won by a landslide. And it ended up being a draw. But anyway, we'll have some of that. That's coming up. So you can dial us up on that 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play. And we're going to go head-to-head today. We're going to play two players and then go to the championship round for the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. So really going to have to hustle to get in on the game. 954-417-0070. We'll get that started in about 10 minutes here and do it for about a half hour or so. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Sans Gurgles, and with the Polyman vowing to return to the show pretty soon. Although I worry more and more when I don't hear from the Polyman for more than a couple of days now, because you know what? We're all on borrowed time, right? I mean, it does seem that way. We're definitely a little bit on loan here at this stage of our lives. All right, NFL preseason gets underway today. Who's betting? I have the lines here, Louie. What do you think? We should make our predictions on these games based on absolutely nothing. The Giants will begin things against the New England Patriots on the road. Now, what reason would there be to favor the Giants by 2.5 points? They have Brian Daboll, their new coach. He obviously wants to make some kind of impression. No, but what kind of impression can you make other than to say, hey, we played a bunch of guys and we got what we wanted out of the game in terms of practice. Who won, by the way, right? Should the coach even be aware of who wins preseason games?
No,
I wouldn't think so.
not really.
He should be looking at other things, right? Like
Yeah,
how
who
did his
cares?
third string offensive line do? Because he might have to replace a couple of guys by week 10, maybe
Honestly,
sooner, right? If you're the New York Jets, all of a sudden, what was going to be a little bit more of a position of strength to help out old Hack Wilson there now looks like an absolute blatant eyesore of a mess as Mekhi Becton. Is it Mekhi Mekhi
Mackay.
Becton?
It's Mackay Becton. Mackay.
Okay.
Mackay Becton.
Thinking Neki Mohan.
Yes.
Neki Becton, who eclipses the size of you, Neki Mohan, and Mayo put together. It's like the old Sid Fernandez thing, human eclipse of the sun, out for the season now with a micro, whatever. He has a fracture
Oh, the
chip.
microfracture. Oh, that's
No,
bad.
I don't know if it's a microfracture. I don't want to say
That's
that.
bad. That's
He has
really
a chipped kneecap or something
oh,
on the
Jesus.
same knee that he had surgically repaired
Yeah.
last year, which he missed every game except he played a few minutes in the first game and then whoosh, out for the season. So,
He's a big dude, too.
unfortunate. And he was going to be their starting right tackle, which meant that they had faith in the guy that played left tackle in his position in his place last year
Mm.
and felt comfortable that guy could do a better job than even Becton could. But Becton is an enormous human being and had such a promising
good.
rookie season. You thought, wow, this guy – what was a hell of a draft choice by the Jets, who are notorious for bungling their first-round picks.
Yep.
And yet they seem to hit on something. Some people thought that was a stretch. The word reach was mentioned with Becton. He was suspect for other reasons, mostly because of what people perceived to be a lack of dedication to the game of football. But very unfortunate, injured again, out for the season. So he's done. The Giants, what are we hearing about the Giants? I mean, Daniel Jones is the big question mark, correct? Daniel Jones, huge question mark. I don't know. There's no commitment there, right? They didn't give him any kind of extension past whatever his rookie contract is. Is that true, Lubie? Is that his status, like pretty much up in the air, as is the case with Tua? He's probably, I don't know, a little bit of a similar boat as Tua Tagovailoa. We don't know if we can make a definitive judgment on whether or not he's going to make it as an NFL quarterback. But at the same time, he's been around long enough for you to start to think that the doubts that are being cast in that direction may have some merit and probably, at this point, more credibility than the idea that, yes, he's going to evolve into a standout. Now, I like Daniel Jones when but I fall in love with everybody when I see the highlight clips on draft day because they always look great, don't they? And I thought, wow, this guy's a pretty good passer, right?
Yeah, the highlights.
They don't show the guy getting cremated and holding onto the ball for 14 seconds. What do
you mean they make Tannehill look great? And that's when I was like, yeah, but that's not. I saw a lot of Tannehill. He didn't do that often.
Tannehill, I just still remember throwing those absolutely absurd picks late in the season when he was playing Texas A&M. I mean, and they were terrible picks. I mean, not even like stuff where the defensive back makes a spectacular play, and you're thinking, all right, he put it up somewhat for grabs there, but the guy just made a great play on him. Nothing like that. I mean, these were just moronic, senseless picks. Gary Apremian's interception pass that he threw in the Super Bowl against the Redskins was prettier than most of the plays that you saw from Ryan Tannehill in his last season there. I don't know, did he last, to his junior year at Texas A&M?
Yeah.
So now he was a first-year quarterback there. I mean, transitioning from a wide receiver position. So if he made a few mistakes, maybe you could overlook that and figure that these were things, as the common cliche goes, that we need to clean up. How many times will you hear that from coaches? Did I interview coaches during these preseason games? Have they capitulated to consenting like the NBA guys do? Which always amazes me when, like, an NBA coach, it's the fourth quarter of a game that's in a dead heat. You get to the fourth quarter, it's 79-78. This is a game that's going to determine who's going to make it to the postseason or not. And there's, like George Sedano on the sidelines, and he's asking the old Craig Sager thing, the obligatory two questions, where the coach consents to answer, but the game's on. And you're thinking, wait a minute, this is the head coach. He's not even watching. Something's happening out there.
I mean,
seems odd, right? And the question is always something like, well, what do you have to do differently here if you're going to pull out the victory? And the guy says, score more points. Like, do we really need to know that? I don't
Never.
think so. And what are you going to do about all of the points they're scoring in the paint? Well, we're going to have to move somebody in there. Maybe we can trade for Rudy Gobert. I mean, it's like, what is this guy going to say? We're getting clobbered. What are you talking about? I'm in the middle of it. Let me get back and at least do whatever I can to try and orchestrate some kind of a turnaround in this ball game. But anyway, I don't know. So what do you think in this Giants game? Giants and Patriots. Why would the Giants be favored over the Patriots? Does Belichick have some stated policy that he never tries to win the opening preseason game?
You're thinking the brand new coach cares a lot more than Belichick. Belichick doesn't give a crap about playoffs. Playoffs. He doesn't care about preseason. Like Belichick could give a crap about the preseason. Daboll is like doing all this talk and blustery and all that crap. I mean,
we need to establish a winning attitude. Okay.
Yeah, you think he cared more?
All right, so would you lay the 2.5 then with the Giants against the Patriots?
Yes,
I'm thinking the Patriots. I don't know why. I figure they just lay an egg in this game. That would be my theory. All right, the Ravens. Very understandable that the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. They're at home against the Tennessee Titans, and we do know that the reputation of John Harbaugh, at least his record, verifies that the theory has some credibility that he actually cares about winning in the preseason. John Harbaugh. So would you lay 3 and a hook with the Ravens? Now, the Ravens, obviously, you're not going to see Lamar Jackson because I don't even know. What is he doing right now, Lamar Jackson? Is he just sitting in his room?
I think he's in camp, isn't he? Isn't he doing
Is he actually participating? I don't know because, he's at an impasse contractually. And oddly, he's trying to negotiate his own contract.
Which is dumb.
Which doesn't seem like a really good move.
No,
is Master P out of the agent business ever since he did that deal with Ricky Williams, where Ricky didn't get paid for the first 6 years he was in the league? And then, Ricky Williams had one of the worst contracts in the history of NFL football. Kim Bokamper came up with a good line about that. We were on a talk show one night, and this was a hot topic at the time. Like, how did Ricky Williams get so hosed in his initial NFL contract? Master P, the rapper who actually was on Dancing with the Stars. He was horrible on that, right? But he had become Ricky's agent for some reason, tried to negotiate this deal, made a really poor deal, maybe one of the worst onerous deals in the history of first-round draft picks. And Kim Bokamper said, here's the thing, Deef. You have your agent is a rapper, you end up in the crapper. Although you would think that these guys would be pretty good because all rappers are filthy rich, are they not?
Yeah, well, not all. They all make it seem like they're rich. A lot of that's borrowed stuff.
Oh,
but again, they have agents and they have management and they have. Being your own agent's a dumbass. Look, if you're established and you are with an organization that you know is going to take care of you, fine. Jackson's the opposite. The Ravens have always been like, like we appreciate you. We like that you're here. Cool. But they feel like I feel. Every playoff, he falls short. So they've never been willing to give him a big deal. The agent's the one that helps there and doesn't hurt. Like
he's vulnerable when forced, to be the man passing the football.
Yeah, he is
vulnerable. Yeah,
he's not
there's
vulnerable.
no doubt
bad.
about that. We've seen it enough times to believe that there's some reason, behind that, which is that unfortunately, under the right type of pressure, he ends up folding up pretty quickly. And hasn't been able to get the Ravens past a certain point. All right, so there are 2 games on tap tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomorrow night. The Dolphins swing into action, and they will play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's kind of an interesting scenario, too, where you have Tua on the sidelines in a very casual setting with the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, who supposedly, the Dolphins went out of their way to the point of getting fined a couple of million in the draft pick and having their owner suspended, went out of their way to see if Brady would be quarterbacking in the spot that Tua holds right now.
Yep. That's
kind of weird, isn't it?
Very weird. What do you mean? They incessantly ask him about it. He's like, well, I'm the one that's here. Yeah, you're here now. I believe you're here.
Do you feel a little bit like a schlep, that the team had so little faith in you? They wanted a 45-year-old guy to replace you for what? For like one season?
Yeah,
they were willing to just put you on the side. I don't know. Would they have kept Tua Tagovailoa on the roster while they had Tom Brady fill in for 1 year? And that was a strange consideration by the Miami Dolphins. And are the Dolphins in a position where what was the league's worst offensive line or among them last year? Can you imagine what would have happened to him? Giselle would have personally punched out Stephen Ross. Are you kidding me? That would have been fun in the parking lot after a game. See Giselle cursing out Stephen Ross. You don't protect my Tommy. Okay, Giselle, chill out. All right, we'll do a little trivia challenge. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Many other things on the sports calendar. Serena's retiring. She got knocked out yesterday, as predicted, in the second round. I don't know where they find these chump qualifiers to play her in the first round of these tournaments, so she'll last around. But here's the deal, Lubie. Would you take a gamble on this? Because you have an eye for a dollar. And look, we're always out there trying to figure out new ways to make a buck. Tickets have skyrocketed in value and price for the opening night session at the U.S. Open.
Really? It's her swan. Everyone assumes she's going to lose.
Well, they're assuming, that she's going to be in that match. Now, I mean, I would think if you were the U.S. Open committee and you know that this is going to be Serena's last tournament and she has been featured, whether it's deservedly so or not at this point, because that was her first singles match win the other day when she beat this qualifier, Pizzazz Diaz or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Who put up a hell of a. I mean, she had Serena on the ropes the entire time. I mean, that match, but for a couple of millimeters, goes the other way, and she wins in straight sets. I mean, I'm talking about the most minuscule of margins. She was missing some pretty good shots by, and Serena benefited from. It was obviously called the right way. They have the Hawkeye thing. Nobody really argues with that, and it was very unfortunate because this woman just missed beating her in straight sets. And if that was the case, I mean, so you know that the committee realizes that there's a pretty good chance that Serena loses in the first round of the U.S. Open, regardless of what kind of a setup match they put together for her. But would you gamble that she's going to be out there thinking maybe it might be her last match of all time? Would you gamble on buying the tickets, which I think were like $35, but they're now going for like $7,000? Can you imagine, Libby? $7,000 to see possible Serena Swan song there at the U.S. Open. Now, I don't know. Would you really pay that kind of money to watch her go out there and lose in the first round of the U.S. Open to some schmanky woman that you probably never heard of before?
Look, we were lucky to see her at, I think that when we went, we saw Venus and Serena play in back-to-back matches. So I could say I saw them when they were still good. I mean, I had said Venus sucked at that point, but she still could play. And Serena was still probably the best player in the women's game. So for us, no, I wouldn't want to see. I have no need to see her again in this. I guess if you've never seen her, it's like Jordan with the Wizards. Like, I'm sure there were people that went there to see Jordan on the Wizards to say that they saw Jordan, even though that was not Jordan. I guess I can sort of understand that. To me, no, I would not. That's sad to me. Like, I don't want to.
No pun intended, but it's requiem for a heavyweight, my friend. It really is. She it's like the late career of Archie Moore, the mongoose, where like he was fighting at 47 and they would throw him out there, and even though you knew he had no shot, he would go out there for a couple of rounds and eventually the guy, would beg the referee to stop the fight. It's not quite there yet for Serena, but it's getting close, right? Because I would have bet every dime in my pocket. I don't know how I let this go by the boards there. She was playing a woman, Benchik, who is okay. Not going to probably win any slams anytime soon. And I would have bet every dime I had in my pocket that she was going to go out in the second round after watching this first round match that she had. But and I'm a big fan of the salutation, Lubie. You know that about me. Like, I believe, even if a guy like left your team and he plays one more year with another ball club, but he comes back to town, give him the proper salutation. If that's going to be the end, then you appreciated the person's career. And you would have to, applaud Serena's career, whether you like their antics or not. And she seemed like a bit of a fraud, from a personality standpoint, just because she feigned all that sweetness when she won. And then when she lost, she was like, I don't give a fuck about her. It's like, oh, okay, Serena, where'd that come from? Did you have the vegetable sandwich today or the tuna? Which one, the Frony tuna? What is it about Atlantic City, too? Frank Gore now apparently is on video. Frank Gore, the former Hurricane. And, of course, a Hall of Fame running back. No, Frank Gore, is he the all-time? He's up there in all-time yardage. Yeah.
I think it's like second or third. between Emmett
was
Smith, Peyton, and then him. I think he's still
on video dragging some woman by her hair. What? Almost a Ray Rice
a hallway. Yeah, it
duplication.
was down a hallway. Yep.
What the hell?
I know what's wrong with people.
My
I don't
God.
know. I've had gotten in many a tussle with many a woman. It never even dawns on me. I'm just like, walk away.
Dragging a woman by a hair down the hallway? Come
Walk
on,
away. Walk away.
Frank.
Walk away.
No,
Don't get
he's
me
trying
wrong.
his hand at boxing, so well, I don't know. Maybe he's been hitting the head a few many times in the ring now. But no, not a pretty scene there whatsoever. Whatever the reason was for it, it was a poor one, and makes it completely unjustifiable. And your friends at the Boston Celtics now are the leaders in the KD chase, supposedly.
There you go. Sure.
Will Kevin Durant be a Celtic next year? There's the question for you.
I think that's going to work out.
We're
So
going to do one of those Mike Greenberg questions. Yeah. Will
think-
Kevin Durant be a Celtic next year? What do you
I think
think?
I love
Kirk?
that city. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
San Francisco to Brooklyn, which is not the Knick fan base. It's a very different fan base. To now going to the probably second craziest fan base outside of Philadelphia, I think it's going to work well for Kevin Durant. I think that's definitely where he wants to be. Which is also known to have a tinge of racism. I think the head caseness that he's become will fit perfect in Boston. I think that's I think that's great.
See if that comes about. I don't know. The demand too. I mean, that's kind of interesting. One of both the GM Sean Marks and Steve Nash canned,
Yeah.
or else get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be around these guys. It seemed to me it was like I'm your puppet, right? Sean Marks did everything that he possibly could to appease Kevin Durant, and Steve Nash was brought in by Kyrie and Kevin Durant because he was less objectionable than Atkinson, who was an excellent coach that they had there already.
Exactly. Marks isn't the problem. Look, we talked with Ian when every time and before they were good, Ian was like, this guy Marks is doing a good job. And then you saw them building a nice young club. It's not Marks' fault. He didn't want Nash. These guys, I love. That's my favorite about these guys. They're like, I want that coach. Oh, he sucks. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's like, you wanted him. We didn't want Mike Brown, LeBron. Like, you wanted Mike Brown. Oh, I don't want Mike Brown now.
David Blatt was my all-time favorite LeBron coach. Now, where did he come from? Whose idea was Blatt? Mike Tannenbaum represented Blatt as an agent, believe it or not. And Steve Kerr, still to this day, for all of the knocks and the disparaging remarks we make about Mike Tannenbaum's tenure as a general manager. And who's the guy that has the scouting report that we have on all the time?
Rick Russell or Aaron Schatz?
No, not Schatz. Wow. I mean, he does everything. He does like...
Landry, Chris Landry.
Chris Landry, yeah. His comments about Mike Tannenbaum were classic. I mean, absolutely priceless here on the show. Where we just mentioned Tannenbaum, and all of a sudden he painted a picture of him as the most useless, pathetic sports executive in the history of athleticism. Incredible. All right, we're coming back with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. We're going to play a couple of people here and do this till about 8 o'clock. A couple of sets of questions. I don't know if they're particularly challenging, but we'll see. It was rough. Because we got last-minute word there. At least it was a last-minute realization that Gurgles was not going to be with us this week. So I hustled together whatever I could here, mostly off the top of my head, which leaves you guys in a very bad spot. Because not only is the accuracy going to come into question, but, of course, the choice of subject matter is rather limited to my... unique idiosyncrasies, which, include an obsession with Vito Anafirmo. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment here. Hialeah Park, a great place to go. I mean, wow. Saratoga is calling my name today. It really is. And I'm thinking, Toga. What would be better than taking it in at Hialeah Park and getting some great food and drink? We were talking about Mike Mayo in a lunchbox the other day about casino food. And in general, most casino food, you can find something that you like, right, Lubie? I mean, there's usually something there. You may pay a bit of a premium for it. When you go out to Vegas, especially the casinos there, it's not like any of the restaurants inside the casinos are known for their bargain rates. You rarely find something, then you go, well, wow, is that all it costs, right? I mean, a hot dog, they're going to whack you for $8, whatever. I mean, it's almost like going to a ball game. But Hialeah Park, it doesn't work that way. I mean, it's just amazing that they really love their patrons. They want to take care of everybody and make sure that you have a good time. And, they're not out there to, make a killing by robbing you blind with a ski mask and a gun when you go to the concession stand. So you get a wide variety of stuff, all kinds of great food options there, from the highest end all the way down to the most casual of types of dining. And, you got that Latin flavor working there too. So get yourself a Cuban sandwich and maybe a beer. Take in the races in the Champion Simulcasting room. You want to go play poker? They have that available to you in an exquisitely designed poker room that is extremely well run. I mean, you're not seeing like a lot of people just hanging around doing nothing there. They're always on top of it in terms of providing the ultimate in service for all of their poker players. They really appreciate you. And then in the casino, Steve Calabro, man, just unrivaled, unparalleled when it comes to knowing how to create action in a casino environment that's going to be favorable to the players. And on top of that, they have this very generous rewards program. So get a player's card when you come in the door. They do a lot of things right at Hialeah Park. They've been doing it that way forever, and they do it with great sincerity and a tremendous love for their patrons. Open till 5 a.m. Friday and Saturday night, so you can play to your heart's content all night long, and then just line up again. Go out. I don't know if they approve of you sleeping in your car for a couple hours. Come right back in the next morning at 9 o'clock and chase that financial dream one more time, and at least have a good time. I mean, that's what it's all about. Make sure that you can have some fun. Nothing worse than the sounds of a dead casino, right? Where, they talk about how the silence is deafening. And, occasionally you hear like kerplunk, like the sound effect of one silver dollar hitting the bucket like it used to. But when you're in casinos and you're like, my God, I mean, does anybody win here? Nobody. Everybody's got casino face. Not the case there at Hialeah Park. Everybody's happy. They're partying, having a good time. Check it out for yourself. A beautiful Hialeah Park, and make your plans to be there. As we said, open till 5 a.m. tonight and tomorrow night at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, we're coming back with more. We'll get the trivia challenge started here, the limited edition, abbreviated Ritter's Digest edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. That's coming up. And then more what? I mean, in-depth sports talk coming up. I don't know. I mean, how deeply should we dissect these two preseason games tonight?
Not at all.
You know what? It's funny. I used to be able to at least detail a little bit. Like I did a lot of pregame shows for preseason games with the Dolphins. We were on for 4 hours before the game talking about a preseason game. Can you imagine? And you would analyze, well, you know what? They have to answer some questions at linebacker. And I'm telling you, this kid that just came in from Fresno State. But I wouldn't even know where to begin on these games.
No.
I have no idea. Like what would the Patriots be trying to accomplish out there tonight? Just
Not
get
hurt.
out of the game, yeah. Get
Like, you
nobody
really
hurt.
think, does Mac Jones play? Like, I keep hearing that all these, like the Giants, I guess, are going to play their guys. Okay, Dable's a madman, but I mean, I don't see the other teams doing that. All I keep hearing is literally teams saying, "Yeah, he won't play the entire preseason." Like they say that before it starts.
I mean, it's getting closer and closer to the time where you need to eliminate it. I'm happy that there'll be some football games on TV to watch, so it kind of gets you in the groove of, having a game on. And it's going to be what? The same setup where you have a Thursday night game. You're going to have games on Sunday, Monday night, and then what? They keep expanding it. Do they have a Tuesday night football game yet?
No,
Pretty soon they will.
not
Right?
in NFL. College does.
You have new channels of watching these games, new platforms for them, including this Amazon thing, which I think I'm signed up for that, Lubie.
I have.
It always sucks when you find out that your cable service or whoever's the provider for your
Well, this
TV
is its own
programming.
streamer. I mean, that would be on you. Shirley has a package come to the house every day, so she has Amazon Prime, meaning she pays to get no delivery charges with one sum a month. That gives you free Amazon Prime
Oh yeah.
television. Yes. Most human beings on the planet have that now because all they do is Amazon Prime. Most people outside of me are every day getting a package. I don't. I go to a store. Like if I want something, I just drive there.
That's not the Mustang style at all. There's an Amazon Prime truck parked in our guest spot.
I know.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Just they actually changed the maintenance guy was there, and he changed it from guest to Amazon Prime because there's always a truck outside. It's crazy, man. What's this? Oh, new carpeting. Okay,
I presume you have Amazon then. Yes. If your wife's like mine, or you're getting a package a day, they pay a flat fee a month for Amazon Prime. That goes over to the Amazon Prime app, and you get the entertainment that they give you, which is actually
I must
decent.
have it. Yeah. No, I must
you
have
must
it. Okay. All right, good. Then I won't be missing any football. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. We'll play the game. 954-417-0070. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday. Tomorrow, a degenerate Friday. The professor back. Has he decided to unleash on Costa Rica?
No, he's going to do that next week. He missed. It was a very busy week last week, so he has to catch up with the Dolphins fun. So he's going to do something about that. I don't know. He's going to do something from last week.
He's a big Dolphin fan, though.
Yeah. No, it's not what you think. That's why I don't like giving it away, but I didn't give anything away.
Okay.
He's just not going to do it on Costa Rica.
That one I can't wait for.
That would be
That's
next.
going to be a good one.
I think next he's going to just widen it to 10.
And Mike Mayo's on the road with Lubie today and the lovely Nikki Mohan. What was the name of the place again? This is going to be a lot of fun for you people. Noon on South Florida Live and on Let's Eat South Florida on Facebook, which they're just killing it over there, right, in terms of viewership, which we applaud greatly. And, it makes us feel good that what we're doing is going in the right direction.
Niran's Kitchen. Niran'', Kitchen and Sushi Bar in Deerfield Beach.
All right. That sounds excellent, and we'll look forward to that later on today, too. Back with more in a moment. On our Believe podcast, Richard Petty. Not Richard, Kyle Petty.
I think it's Richard
Richard checked out, yeah.
Kyle. He made his own name. Yes,
Kyle Petty. Good guy. I've interviewed Kyle Petty before. He always comes across very, very well. He does a good job as an analyst, too, when he's on TV. He seems at first like a little goofy, and then you're like, well, whoa, no, this guy's really saying some things. So big fan of Kyle Petty, and we'll have him on later on our Believe podcast on Believe Network. That's BLEAV, and that usually hits the airwaves about 11 o'clock. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
7:47. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Robert Klein, a pleasure. Huge fans and been bombarded with messages and texts attesting to your brilliance and how much they have enjoyed your work over the years, and still outstanding. Thanks so much. I don't know if you have 1 second real quick.
Yeah.
The Bronx Olympics would look like what? I called a friend of mine and I asked him if he was watching the fencing, and he said he thought that involved moving stolen merchandise. But the Bronx Olympics, so what would be the number one event?
The number one event would be the shout. Who could shout, yo, hey, yo?
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show, the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lewitz. It's the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, and a bridge edition today because we were without The great one himself, Mr. Dave Gurgles Gurgley, who really, I mean, the Polyman and Gurgles, a tremendous job over the 25 or 6 years we've been doing the Trivia Challenge, coming up with these brain buster questions, always fascinating. Obviously, in the era of Google and the ability to look up something instantaneously and come up with an answer, had to be very careful to try and devise questions where it wasn't necessarily easy to find the answer right away. That's why we have some twisted approaches to some of the questions that we use. But those guys have been very expert at that. I'm not sure that I followed along with that protocol today because essentially I woke up at 5:45 and said, "Fuck, I don't have any questions." So here we go. We're ready to play. We're going to play a two-person competition here today, head-to-head, and then go to the finals. Lubie's at the controls. He'll grab your telephone calls at 954-417-0070. And we are ready to go and set to go. So we're going to start out in tribute to the Polyman, without the Polyman, and some easy baseball deep. All right. What great venerable baseball manager said, and he was known for his quips and oddball quotations. Said, "There comes a time in every man's life, and I've had plenty of them." It'll kind of leave you hanging there a little bit, as to what it was that he was talking about. No, nobody was actually sure. There comes a time in every man's life, and I've had plenty of them. That's applicable to a lot of us, is it not? I mean, that really does kind of illustrate and epitomize what this whole journey is about, if you want to go into bachelorette terminology on this. Was that Casey Stengel, Casey Kasem, Casey Jones, or the great bank shot artist himself, number 24, the great Sam Jones? All right, here's a random phone scrambler. We're going to select our first player. Very appropriately so, in a two-man competition, a King of the Hill type of competition today. We have Lenny the Chronic ready to play. Lenny, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How's everything, guys?
Good morning, sir.
We're hanging in there. We're doing all right. Are you on tonight with the Chronics for the Lubie Festival there at Landlubbers?
Festival.
We're on, and we might have a shot tonight. Since Gurgle's not to clear the table.
Yeah, he's been dragging your team down, man. Gurgles has been the Joey Gallo of the Chronics.
Yeah, but he's a fun at the table, man. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, if you had one of those degenerate SAT questions, it would be along the lines of Dave Gurgles Gurgley is to the Chronics what Joey Gallo was to the Yankees. True or false? And the answer to that would be very true. All right, you have 1 point, Lenny. You're very much in the game. True or false? Speaking of which, all right, Mike McDaniel, very interesting guy, right? Seems to be an eclectic version of what you would anticipate. Not even the modern day football coach would look like, but maybe even a futuristic type of NFL coach. So this is a guy who is versatile in what his interests are. Mike McDaniel said that other than his friends on the 49ers and the people that he worked with, the thing that he's going to miss most about San Francisco is his morning jogs across the Golden Gate Bridge. True or false?
Why not? True.
No, I made that up. I don't know if he jogged across the Golden Gate Bridge. After he coaches the Dolphins, like many who have gone before him, he will think about leaping off the Golden Gate Bridge, which is kind of what made me think about that question. All right, very good. You have 1 point, and you are now going for 4. So I'm going to hit you with a Vito Anafirmo question, if that's okay. Vito Anafirmo, is that among your favorite topics? A lot of people have seen Anafirmo, or at least pieces of his career, or know a little of the history of it. But he was the undisputed. I believe at the time there might have been 2 Alphabet Soup organizations, maybe even 1. There might have been 1 champion in every division, and only 8 divisions, I think, when Anafirmo was fighting. So the fact that he was the undisputed champion probably doesn't make much of a distinction. But who did Vito Anafirmo defeat to win the middleweight championship of the world? Was that A, Hugo Coro, B, Alan Minter, C, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, or D, Gene Fulmer?
So with Alan Minter.
No, Minter beat him. Actually, he may have. I think he fought Minter twice. Minter beat him and won the championship from him. He won the championship originally from a guy named Hugo Coro, who I would not have been familiar with. I thought the The draw there would have been Gene Fulmer, who we always saw on like the Gillette Fight of the Week. Right? It seemed like he fought every week, Gene Fulmer, and got his face beat in by somebody, although he was a credible fighter in his own rights. All right, one going for 6 here, and this one I think you're going to get, Lenny, because you're a big baseball guy. All right? You ready?
All right.
5-point question.
Yes, sir.
On this very day, right, where are we? August 11th. On this day in 1970, the great Jim Bunning became the third man to win at least 100 games in both leagues, and the first since Cy Young to do it, okay? So Cy Young won 100. The guy before was like in the 1600s. He was in the Pilgrim Baseball League, and so Cy Young is believed to be the first guy to do it. And then along comes Jim Bunning, and he gets it done on this day in 1970. Who was the next pitcher after Bunning to accomplish that distinction? To win 100 games in both the American and the National League. Who was the next guy after Bunning to do it? Was it Gaylord Perry, Ferguson Jenkins, Nolan Ryan, or Dennis Martinez?
With Gaylord Perry.
Gaylord Perry, good guess. I guess all of them would have been viable guesses. It was Ferguson Jenkins.
Oh, Jenkins.
Ferguson Jenkins was the next guy to accomplish that, win 100 games in each league. Lenny, a strange bomb out here. I don't know. It depends on the arrangements at the end. You may end up in the finals anyway, because we're only going to play a couple of guys here today on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. But we may even throw in guys that didn't play for the championship round. That's a possibility, too. So we haven't decided on that yet, because we're making up the rules as we go to this particular version of the game. So hang in there, Lenny. Thanks for playing, and we'll see if we can get you into the finals or not. In all likelihood, right now, the way it stands, you've got a shot to win yet another Landlubbers gift certificate. All right, we'll come back and we'll play another contestant here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. I'm Jeff DeForest. He is Mike Lubie Lubitz. Gurgles would want to tell you about Perdomo cigars. Now, I don't know all the specifics about Perdomo, the different types of cigars that they make, but I do know this. They make a fine cigar, Lubie. I got to meet Nick Perdomo many, many years ago. He had already launched his company, and it was already gaining recognition around the world, and you would see like Perdomo cigars kind of slipping in there, like number 6, number 5, in Cigar Aficionado among the great cigar makers around the world. And there's Gurgles, and he epitomizes what it's like to line up a just absolutely scrumptious Perdomo cigar. I don't know, is scrumptious the way to? Sounds like you're going to eat the cigar. What would it be? An aromatic Perdomo cigar, flavorful, a zesty Perdomo cigar.
Sound like you're describing a chip. Scrumptious.
I don't want people to think I don't know what
cigar
I'm talking about here, but no, I mean, I got familiar with Nick, and I really respect what he did, because he started, honestly, I mean, how many times, Lubie, have we started from scratch? A zillion already.
I've done it 3 or 4 times. You've done it like 12.
Oh, dozens of times. I mean, whether it was in relationships, businesses, jobs, I mean, approach to life, physical fitness, started from scratch. Financially, how many times have you started from scratch? But Nick started this thing from scratch. He was rolling cigars out of the trunk of his car there, somewhere in Hialeah, right next to the Churro Man. And the next thing you know, he's got one of the biggest cigar companies anywhere the world over, recognized by many as being the finest, certainly top 5 in consideration in that category of the best cigars made anywhere. I remember being in Puerto Rico, and I was in San Juan, and naturally they had like a bunch of cigar and tobacco shops, and right there in the window featured most prominently Perdomo cigars. When here's Puerto Rico known, for having fine cigars. They have this Nicaraguan seed tobacco that they grow themselves, and they take great pains to make sure that they put together the most highest quality cigar that you can possibly put your lips around. So wherever you are, wherever you happen to be, always think about Perdomo cigars when you're thinking about fine cigars at very reasonable prices. Located in Miami Lakes, and of course available where fine cigars are sold virtually anywhere, and of course online at PerdomoCigars, I'm going to say .com. If you don't find it there, I'm sure if you Google Perdomo cigars, you'll be able to find a place where you can order as many as you would like. I know Gurgles probably has one lit up right now. Is he getting set? Did he tee off already? Do we know? Did we ever hear from Gurgles?
Yeah, this morning.
Teed off already. Wow.
Yeah.
He's in the woods somewhere playing golf, isn't he? Like the Pocono Mountains?
Yeah, the Poconos.
Speaking of Kyle Petty, yeah. All right, we're coming back with more. We'll play some more people here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie. It's the Defo Show here on South Florida Live. Mike Mayo, 12 o'clock with the Lunchbox. They're going to be on the road, Nikki Mohan and Lubie. And I can't believe the high praise you're drawing from Mike Mayo, because you know how verklempt he gets before and during the shows.
I know. I get there really early. I make it nice and easy so he doesn't have to worry. That was my big goal, is get him away from anything technical.
Yeah.
It's made it a lot easier. He comes in like you. He comes in like 5 minutes before. I'm like, good. Just leave me alone.
He probably has the impression that this is easy.
Now,
right?
now he does. He didn't before. He used to stress out with the mic.
Oh my God! Yeah, he had the mic cord around his neck here. Like,
fine, I'll fade to the back again. I don't mind it. I just want this thing to run.
What about this? That was always his question. What about this?
Just leave it alone.
Like, what about what, Mike? Just leave it alone. Just don't touch anything.
Just leave me alone.
I learned that a long time ago. Just leave it alone, man. Well, you know, maybe it'll fix itself. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
They don't want.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Folks, Tony Segreto.
Tony can't say enough good things about Texas Roadhouse restaurants. It was good talking to Ed Garcia yesterday here on the show, man. Ed's a great guy. He really is a giant Michigan fan. And we couldn't be happier. I mean, very lucky to represent the people that we represent here on the program. Texas Roadhouse, fine company. It's so funny, too, because there are guys, I don't know, Mayo doesn't really fall into this category, which is fortunate, but he might have leanings in this direction, which is, you talk about a chain restaurant with 600 stores. And, the first thing everybody says, that supposedly has refined, sophisticated taste is, it's a chain.
Yeah, normally.
Okay, but, I mean, you're pulling your own chain if you believe that you're going to get, any better value than you'll find at these Texas Roadhouse restaurants that Tony had turned us on to. Wow. I mean, and, it's great. I mean, for a family, especially, it's so expensive to dine out, where you can find a family joint that has that level of quality and attention to detail. Where, is it the finest steakhouse? No, not necessarily. I mean, you can go pay $90 for a steak somewhere, and you probably think to yourself, wow, that was a hell of a cut of meat, right? But you're also out of stick, where, you could probably feed a family of four, like somewhere in that neighborhood at a Texas Roadhouse, yeah.
Sure.
With some drinks and everything else. So, and then treated like a champ. I mean, they really know what they're doing there. So, great organization. I'm more than happy to embrace them and endorse them. And, of course, we're very proud to represent Hialeah Park, and it's a Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Want to get into our next player here, and then a lot to get to here on the program as, I'm starting – the juices are starting to percolate a little bit. Thinking, shouldn't I make a two-team parlay tonight against the spread on the two preseason games? Just to say I did it, right? I mean, I talk about all the time how I'm not really a daredevil, but in this regard, would that not be something that was along the lines of daredevil antics to bet a 2-team preseason parlay against the point spread with absolutely no idea whatsoever what it was that you were betting on? None.
No way. No way.
Just
no.
an arbitrary roll of the roulette ball there, right? I mean, and you're playing into not one, not two, but triple zeros at this
No
point.
way.
Triple fucking zeros. Whose idea was that? I guess we're getting into a degenerate Friday mode here, but we'll have a lot to talk about on tomorrow's show as well. All right, we want to get into our next set of questions. We're dedicating this show to the Polyman Paul Massell. He did not pass away. I don't want to, people
He's
immediately
fine.
started thinking, "Oh my God, what happened to the Polyman?" No, he's fine. But we love the guy, and we're looking forward to his return to the program and or some matter. I mean, should he not have his own show? Like he should have a sitcom or something.
I don't need him to have a sitcom. He can just do 5 minutes.
South Florida Live, yeah.
Polly's Tales, and just do 5 minutes of him, like what he used to do at the beginning of this show. Just do that and
Right.
then go back to his life. That'd be fine with me.
Paul
Just
Massell, Tales from the Crypt.
his musings.
Yeah.
Polly's musings, and he just bitches about this or that. Or
That was
goes off in
unbelievable.
his face.
It was Aqueduct. Aqueduct was 9 years old.
No.
Fine with me. Just do 5 minutes. I don't need more than that. I'm not greedy.
He is a character's character, man. My dad always told me this, and I have great respect for my dad and his opinion about these sort of things. Although, I don't know that he knew everything about what was going on in the modern day media, but he was part of the media there in the publishing industry and dealing with books and authored many books and was involved making movies and things of that nature. Although it's still what was, I don't know, should I have been proud or embarrassed? I was proud of my
Embarrassed.
dad.
I'm embarrassed.
Really? When
It would have been
Is-
cool with my buddies if I went with my buddies, not if I went with a girl. Like that's the difference. It's like you're trying to
these were
show off.
triple X, my friend.
That's the thing.
XXX. Speaking of Butterbean Ash, it would be like if he went to a men's shop to buy a shirt. Why don't you try the triple X over there, buddy? I think you might find those very comfortable. And my dad's name, the story goes, I was out on a first time starter, a maiden, in college, and I was very, very impressed with this woman, as I was with almost everybody that would ever acknowledge that I was alive, and from the female sex, and we're watching these movies, and she was a little bit put off because they were triple X, and she kind of looks at me with a weird look, like, why would you take me to see this? And then the credits roll. And fortunately, she wasn't looking at the screen. And there, my dad's name came up because he wrote the movies. Big giant letters, Michael DeForest, screenplay by Michael DeForest. I was happy because it was helping pay my way through the queues there. I mean, whatever pittance I was getting from the baseball team there, I don't even know if they, I think it was $15 a month and a couple of T-shirts that they threw you in the gym. But the rest of it was more reasonable back then, though. I mean, even an expensive school
Oh yeah.
was like, $3,000 or something
Oh yeah.
for maybe a semester. And that was with room and board. Now what? It's costing you, how much is it costing to send a kid to college if you don't have that Florida prepaid thing? I'm surprised DeSantis hasn't eliminated that yet because he seems to
It
want to
works.
eliminate
It
anything that is
works.
good for the people.
Exactly.
There I go again with my politics. All right. Anyway, we're dedicating the program here today to the Polyman, and we want to get into our next player and many things, as we said, to get to here as we conduct the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. Are you ready? Are you ready, Lubie, to dive into our next set of questions?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Okay. This is one of my favorites. And it gets back into
Easy baseball.
and it was said by this gentleman when asked, "What does it take to be a good manager? You've had a lot of success in your career. You've won a lot of World Series, and of course, a longtime manager of the Yankees." They ask this gentleman, "What does it take to be a good manager?" And his response was, "The key to being a good manager is to keep the people who hate me away from those who are still undecided." Which, I mean, is solid advice in any endeavor that you're in, whether you're
Yes.
managing a baseball team or leading anything at this point. Was that A, Casey Stengel, B, Casey Affleck, C, the professor's favorite, Ben Affleck, or was it J-Lo that came up with that one? And here's the random phone scrambler. Mike, the great Mike. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello, Mike.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen, and good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. sir.
Hey,
And Lubie hit the bell in anticipation of you getting that one correct, which we've had a very high success rate when it came to that first question here over the many years that we've been doing this. All right. True or false? You have 1 point, Mike. You're in the game. True or false? Tiger Woods. We go to Tiger Woods, who I don't know if we've seen Tiger's swan song yet. Serena's going to make hers at the U.S. Open. I'm not sure. Does Tiger come back, play another tournament? Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, whether we've seen the last of him or not, Tiger Woods credits much of his success after 1999 to the laser eye surgery that he had. And then he also references that he won 7 of his next 10 tournaments after receiving that treatment. True or false? Does Tiger Woods credit laser eye surgery, but with a good portion of his success post-1999 when he had the treatment?
You made that up, Paul.
No, that's true.
True. That guy Defo doesn't know that much.
Blind as a bat, this
That's
guy
gotta be
was.
true.
I mean, he was Helen Keller on steroids.
That's 100. That
Couldn't
just felt
see the
true.
hole.
Like Defo wouldn't know to make that up.
That's why he gave so much credit to Steve Williams. He could not see the hole. And then all of a sudden, he had laser eye surgery and bingo, man. I don't know if he went to that Dr. Panu guy that was advertising on TV down here. The cat with the turban? I'm not sure.
I would say no.
Was that a racist statement on my part? I don't know.
I mean, did he have it?
What significance was it that he? I mean, it was just I don't know. It looked odd to me. The guy was there with a turban on, and he was
doing eye surgery.
just absolutely inundated, saturated TV with his ads. All right, just an aside. Okay, all right. You have 1 point, Mike, and you're going for 4 here.
Yes.
Here we go. Let me get. Okay, everybody gets the obligatory veto and affirmo question. All right. So are you ready? I don't know if you're a fan of vetoes or not. If you ever ate in an Italian restaurant in New York, there wasn't a single one that didn't have his picture posted right there by the cash register. In fact, it's suffice to be a license for many Italian restaurants to have the veto picture where he's got the fists up. All right. He dabbled in acting, Vito Infirmo, and actually he had a part, and it was referenced by, who was it, Vincent Montagna? Joe Montagna, not Vincent. Joe Montagna, who has come on the show a couple of times, various interviews, and we always ask him about Vito being the bodyguard in The Godfather to Joey Zaza, which I think he had like a brief speaking part. So he dabbled in acting. He was also in an episode of The Sopranos, and he was also known to endorse what line of products in his lone television commercial appearance, Vito Infirmo? Was that Old Spice, Gillette, High Karate, or Fabergé? Speaking of Osimiyaki checking out.
Old Spice.
It was Old Spice.
Oh, good for you, because I would have said Fabergé just
yeah, right, because it sounded the most ridiculous. As Vito Infirmo for Fabergé,
No,
right?
that's
Meanwhile,
what I'm
he needs a cut man just to keep his makeup in place.
Like, didn't Marino do the pantyhose? Wasn't that the Marino thing? Didn't
No,
Marino
that
do
was
the-
Namath did the pantyhose.
Okay, Namath did the pantyhose. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was
People were
fun.
doing funky stuff back then.
Yeah,
I mean, it was more of a fun time where people didn't
fun
take
for it.
themselves as seriously as they do today. Marco Rubio. What was he talking about? This is looking like Nicaragua there because they went there and picked up a couple of boxes from Trump's place. I mean, get over yourself, Marco. All right, here we go. And this is for 9 points. And obviously, the first place position here in the finals and a guaranteed spot. What pitcher posted the highest win percentage in a season with a minimum of 15 decisions in that year? What pitcher had the highest win percentage in a season with a minimum of 15 decisions? Was that Rick Sutcliffe, Elroy Face, Phil Regan, or Greg Maddux?
Sutcliffe.
Sutcliffe was up there, man. He had one of those years where he was like 16-1, but the great Elroy Face, the reliever for the Pirates, went 18-1 one year.
Jesus.
And that was the highest winning percentage ever. So you ended up at 4 points, Mike. We're going to move you on into the finals here, which we're going to conduct in just a few seconds. And we're going to put them up against Lenny. Do we bring Lenny back, or do we have somebody else you want to bring in?
I can get other people on the line. That would make me happy. But if you want to do Lenny, I'm open.
Well,
to
whatever you want to do there, Louie. I'll give you a minute to figure that out here.
I'd rather we have another gentleman who wants to join. I'd rather just have them play in the finals.
Okay, yeah,
Lenny
because
understands
Lenny was a shot
believe it or
fighter today
not,
anyway.
he
Yeah.
was ass. So he didn't get anything right.
All
I'd
right.
rather random than
Okay, yeah, random. All right. So roll the scrambler here, and we'll have an opponent from Mike who legitimately tallied 4 points in the game. And then, with the liberty that we have, I don't know if the FBI is going to be raiding the studios anytime soon because we're making up rules as we go. And I'm not sure if that is in any kind of constitutional violation. I do dig the fact that Donnie Boy, his favorite amendment was Amendment 2, of course. He was, very righteous in his defense of everybody's right to bear arms. And now it's Amendment 5, is it not? Which he invoked like 440 times yesterday in a deposition that he was doing there in front of this Letitia, the Attorney General in New York. She's not a big fan. All right, so we'll dig up an opponent here. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll play the finals of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday. Tomorrow, Degenerate Friday. The professor returns from his trip to Costa Rica, although I guess that won't be mentioned, according to Mike Lubie Lubitz.
He may talk about it. He's just
Yeah.
not doing his 5.
I didn't see him enjoying that kind of thing, like if he was going to do all this adventure stuff. That's not the professor. I see him playing roulette in a casino somewhere and maybe going fishing because he does like to fish and is an accomplished deep-sea fisherman. But I guess the people he was with, they didn't want to fish, and so he was stuck doing all the other stuff, which everybody hates.
Pretty much.
But tries to,
everybody.
make like they're
My
having
wife's
fun
nice.
with the
My wife's
zip
nice.
lining and, whitewater rafting. Get out of here with that, man.
I had fun doing that stuff, but not everyone does. And you have to know who you are and accept who you are. And it's okay. You're allowed to like different stuff. And it's all right.
I don't need this America Ninja Warrior, type of approach to going on vacation. Just give me a cocktail and something to gamble on, maybe a racing phone. And we'll have a good time that way, and something decent to eat. All right, we're coming back with more here in a moment. We'll have the finals coming up here, and we will feature a player that was just out there in the universe of players. We're waiting to get into the game. And, of course, Mike, who tallied 4 points. Coming back with that in a moment here on the Defo Show. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:16. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapists, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep, to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm going to wrap up the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge and then continue with you here on South Florida Live, the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie, Lubitz. We're set for the finals here. We brought Pat in from the universe of potential players and Mike, who set the pace here with 4 points in the game. They're going to contest the finals. I'm going to toss out a question. Guys, call out your name if you'd like to answer right away. If nobody answers right away, we'll offer multiple choice. And the first person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth till we have a winner. Lubie has a Landlubbers gift certificate, and I would imagine you could give this to either of these gentlemen, right?
Yes.
At Landlubbers tonight, where you'll be making yet another personal appearance.
I don't know both either of them go, but they will get theirs. I'll be there.
Okay. Now you had like a zillion pencils. Was that in case somebody forgets to bring a writing implement to play the game?
We have at Landlubbers, we have anywhere from 15 to 20 teams, and each team gets a pencil. I ran out of pencils there. Like ran out. That's how
it looked like you were going to sign some horrendous rights limiting bill like Ron DeSantis, where he has. I don't know why he always has the felt tip pens. You know, he has like 100 of them. What is that all about? I guess the Trumpster had that thing going too. Is that a Republican thing, or do all politicians have like 1,000 pens?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's like a big thing.
Yeah. Did you ever have the pen protector? Were you ever? No, never wore that.
No, I was never that nerd.
That was always the thing. You would have various colored ink stains right by, above your pocket if you didn't wear the pen protector. All right, ready for the finals question. We're going to go right back to Elroy Face, one of my favorites of all time there, 18-1 with the Pirates that year. And he didn't have an incredibly overwhelming winning record throughout his career, but he certainly had it going that particular season. And he was the originator, Lubie, I think the original practitioner of the forkball, which was then now commonly more known as the splitter, which became a big factor in baseball there for a while when a lot of different guys were proponents of the splitter. And I think it's kind of back in the game, back in vogue, because it was discouraged after you saw any number of guys go from throwing the splitter at 98 miles an hour and striking everybody out. And then, like 2 weeks after the season, they all needed Tommy John. Like every one of them, it was under the knife there, getting Tommy John surgery, the split finger advocates. But Elroy Face had the split finger and was throwing it known as the forkball back then. And it was very, very effective at different times. So we pay homage to him with this question. And here you go, Pat and Mike. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. What was Elroy Face's nickname? Very simple one. What was Elroy Face's nickname? What was he known as in terms of a nickname while playing Major League Baseball? All right, here's multiple choice. Was it the Finisher, Elroy Lights Out Face, the Bullpen Baron, or the Terminator? What was Elroy Face's nickname? Call out your name. Pat, what was it?
Pat.
Yeah.
C.
C is right. Wow.
I was going to say, is the Terminator even around during his time?
No, of course not. I made that up while I was in my sleep. I mean, you're expecting brilliance here? That was a pretty weak question, if you ask me.
Nice. I'll see you tonight. And Mike, thanks for playing. And you may get a consolation prize as well. So we'll see.
How about that? Mike wins the game outright. And,
yeah, you may get
during
a
the regular season, but
win.
we know regular season is meaningless unless you come through in the playoffs.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Nobody cares about regular season wins.
No, not at all.
No, you got to win in the postseason, and that's when Pat came through like a champion. All right, that was a lot of fun. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Had a good time conducting that. We'll come back in just a few moments here. Don't forget about Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Looking forward to that. Although I haven't heard from Tommy Fox for a little while. I'm starting to get a little nervous about that.
What does that mean? Okay, so
I don't know.
Things agreed. I'm so confused. I thought things were agreed about.
There were agreements. No, I'm not sure.
Because John's going to join us a week from Monday. He
Okay,
can't
all right.
do
Well,
this Monday.
that's a positive sign.
He's
That's a
gonna
positive
join us.
sign. Yeah.
So
all right. I'm thinking it's a done deal. I believe that it is. And even if it wasn't, we still would like to brag about the place because we don't need to necessarily have endorsement capital coming in to recommend Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill to anybody. It's an absolutely fantastic place. We couldn't have had a better time there. I couldn't have been any more overwhelmingly impressed. You don't know what you're going to think. I've been to a lot of Keys resorts, whether it was upscale. I've stayed at the Ocean Reef Club, and I've stayed at whatever that place is that everybody goes. It's only $60. It's like the cheapest hotel in the Isla Morada, Key Largo kind of vicinity there. It's called the Sunset Inn. And, so you share the room with a couple of insects, sometimes large and with wings. But other than that, and the grounds don't look exactly like the brochure, nor do the rooms. And certainly, when you dive onto one of the beds, there's a good chance it's going to collapse. But that being said, I mean, I've never seen anything as spectacular as Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill in terms of the accommodations there. So you can check on that at jimmyjohnsonsbigchill.com. They're kind of limited, and it's a different sort of thing. It's not like you're getting squashed into some one bedroom or a little studio. I mean, you're talking about, you saw the place, Lubie. How spectacular was that?
I didn't see it, and I'm glad I didn't. 'Cause I'm even more pissed.
Oh yeah, especially since
I
you were
was staying
sleeping
on not even a couch. I was
in a car.
and it wasn't a chair. I don't know what, and I appreciate our buddy for letting me do it, but I don't know what you title that furniture.
Yeah.
It was like the the chaise lounge chairs where couches, like there's the regular couch and they have the chaise lounge. This was just the chaise lounge, and it was for like an 8-year-old.
It's a little difficult, when it comes to getting a good night's rest. I can understand it.
I would have really pissed.
Well, I had my choice of 3 bedrooms.
You were like in like a Manhattan suite.
Really? I mean, it was as luxurious as any place I've ever stayed. I mean that in all sincerity. All right, and we were enjoying that, and tremendous views also because they're right there on the bay side. Great food and drink, and a tremendous atmosphere, and what a vibe! I mean, just unbelievable with the bands coming in all day and all afternoon, right into the sunset there. When Larry Calvano, who owns the joint, and then Dominic and Jemmy were out there playing with the band, and you would have thought, wow, I mean, U2 giving a concert here, that's incredible. Is that Bono up there on the microphone? Really, really a great job. And it's a good feeling, too, when everybody's just kind of partying out together there, chilling out, enjoying a Keys sunset with a spectacular view. Tremendous destination here. Mile Marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. You can't go wrong if you're looking for a place to dine. A lot of people like to go to, what's that place with the conch fritters? Something Jack's?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the keys that well.
What is it? It's like Tomahawk Jacks or something. No, it's not Tomahawk. Can you even say Tomahawk anymore? Or
I mean, it's called a Tomahawk. I don't know. I of all the places I went to when we were down there, I wouldn't go anywhere but
it's like Cadillac Jacks or something. I don't know.
The places were fine, but it's just different. I don't know. The Big Chill's just different. It's just like a party.
It's great.
The place is great, man. The food's really good. They do a really good job.
Looking forward to getting back there. Anyway, fantastic place. Couldn't recommend it any more highly. Try the Italian Fisherman Pizza. You get a shot there, and you're looking at, wow, I mean, you need a lot of people on that. Because if you get the large Italian Fisherman Pizza, that is exactly as described. A large. And you talk about the freshest of seafood, including, I mean, when you're finding pieces, big chunks of lobster, scallops, shrimp, fresh fish. I mean, fantastic on a pizza, and the way they just blended this together in perfect synchronization. It was really an amazing fusion of tastes and conceptual, cooking and culinary art. I mean, it was fantastic, just amazing. I should be writing, for the Sun Sentinel like Mayo did there. It was a fusion of culinary art. It was fantastic. No, you're going to love it, and you're going to love all the food. Lubie was slobbering down a bunch of nachos, pork nachos. Jimmy, he was a big nachos fan, so they're not putting out some slouch nachos where it's dry as a bone. Just one layer below the top. Maybe you got a little guacamole there, and if you don't grab that right away, you got nothing. You got a dry chip. Not the case there, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. A lot of great restaurants there in the Keys. This one kind of combines the essence of all of them into one fantastic place. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. All right, we're coming back with more. We'll take you up until 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. Our Believe podcast later on Believe Network, BLEAV. We will feature Kyle Petty, has a new book out about, I guess, the first family of racing, which that would be them, right? I mean, the Pettys, unbelievable. Richard Petty. Always have to mention this to Kyle Petty, that, rarely do I go ahead and purchase anything based on an advertisement that I see on TV. All right. I mean, I'm not inclined to necessarily like jump right away and get something. You rarely move to that level. But I was for a long time snorting Goody's headache powder. Because Richard Petty recommended it, man. I don't think my head ever felt badly after that. And, of course, we were snorting other substances that looked similar later on. And that was a whole different story. All right. Coming back with more in a moment here on the Defo Show. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:29.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
The lovely Debbie Boone joins us here. The song You Light Up My Life. And it's one of those songs that, well, at least for some period of time, I think in virtually every human being, no matter what language they speak, that it was in their head for a period of time. To the point where everybody walked around with that You Light Up My Life on their mind, right? Which has to be a sensational tribute and distinction for anybody that's in the music business.
Well, for the most part, yes, and I am very, very grateful. But a few people did want to break that vinyl over my head.
Here's your record, Debbie. I'm using it as a Frisbee. What are you talking about?
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lewitz with you on this fine Thursday. Tomorrow, Degenerate Friday, will feature the professor and the big board. And Lubie says he has something special concocted that may relate to the Miami Dolphins. That's as much inside information. Can you call Schefter and see if he has any kind of a scoop on what the professor's going to do on the big board tomorrow here on the show? Call Schefter. Get Schefter on the phone. Well, he's breaking every story here in the National Football League. And also, the Gambling Gourmet, Mike Mayo, will be joining us.
Greek will also join us as well.
Oh, yeah?
Our preseason expert is the Greek. He does really well on preseason football.
Oh, he does love it, yes.
Understand. You bet preseason.
What is the essence of trying to figure it out, though? Is it strictly coaches? Is that the number one angle? Coaches that seem to put some emphasis on winning games in the preseason. And how would you go about that? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to put your starters back in the fourth quarter? Look, you're relying on scrubs to decide these games. It seems insane to think that you have an edge. It's almost the way baseball has gotten, where you used to base your entire angle on a bet on who are the starting pitchers. Correct? Yeah. And that was the determining factor, and it still is to a large extent there. Oh, yeah. You have a cat? I didn't know you had a cat.
She's saying, screw you, preseason. This is Cecilia's take on betting the preseason.
Yeah, waving her ass in our face. That's great. It'll be a nice prop.
Sorry, you wanted Cecilia? There's Cecilia.
Cecilia. So even Lubie's cat takes a dump on the idea of betting the preseason. Showed you her ass here on the show first.
That was the best timing ever.
I think my dog took a dump on the carpet here because she wanted me to let her out, but I couldn't get up. just let one go right here. I don't know. I might be putting my feet in it pretty soon.
I think both of our animals are saying screw the preseason.
Well, some would say that we stepped in the shit every time we open our mouth here on this program.
That's a whole other
All right. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I mean, we used to spend hours agonizing over what the meaning of these preseason games would be or potentially be. And if the Dolphins came out there and just annihilated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Saturday with Tua playing the first half and throwing 3 touchdown passes, while the Buccaneers were offering an arrangement of scrubs, the likes of which you would more likely see on the Detroit Lions practice squad. I mean, do you establish or attach or derive any meaning from that?
No.
If they're not going to play these guys in these games, also, then honestly, what really is the point of? I suppose you get a chance to look at some players, and maybe it's good for the players too in some ways. And that if you are kind of an NFL Scribini, or you're hanging on, or you're borderline bubble type player, you at least have some film of yourself in a game that you can take around as kind of like if you would have like an audition tape, Lubie, of the best of Mike Lubie Lubitz. Right, where we were asking questions to Bobby Bowden, whatever it was, so that would have some purpose. Coaches, what they get to kind of work on their game time communication. Is that something that they put into practice? Half the time, the head coach isn't even paying attention. Right, he's up there in the suite with the owner. Belichick, you think he's even on the sidelines for this game tonight? Belichick.
Well, he probably overly takes it serious, the play each play. You asked earlier about the winning and losing. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't think you keep track of records. I just think you want guys to do things the right way. We've seen guys like Preston Williams and
yes.
Bess and Chris Chambers, who was a first round pick, but people didn't really know who he was, as he was a receiver out of Wisconsin, and it's not like they're known for their receivers.
I think he was a second round pick. He
was a guy. He wasn't like a 6th rounder. Like, he was going to make the team. But as a Wisconsin receiver, there was a lot of questions with him.
Yeah,
I remember those 3 guys doing really big things in the preseason, and Chambers became a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. Best made the team. Williams was an injury guy the whole time. So I don't know. I never know what to do with the preseason. I mean, the preseason stars only go so far.
I think Hard Knocks helped illustrate some of the things about the preseason. I mean, there may have been like exaggerations about some of the drama that was taking place, but it seems like coaches hold an inordinate number of meetings where, how meaningful could they really be? All of these meetings that they have constantly analyzing personnel. Do you not feel like football might be the most overanalyzed game in the history of all sport? Where, I mean, you're just looking and going, in essence, it's a bunch of fat guys crashing into each other up front, hoping that some skinny guy with some agility can make something happen based on that before he gets smacked in the head by another guy who runs a 3.9 40 who happens to be playing, in the defensive secondary or linebacker. How sophisticated is it? I mean, and then you see these detailed meetings. Like Joe Philbin, at least that was a great illustration on the Hard Knocks that they did on the Miami Dolphins when Joe Philbin and Jeff Ireland were, the guys running the show here. And Philbin had no idea what Ireland was doing, and Ireland apparently had no idea what he was doing either. He'd be like trading their starting cornerback, and there was that famous thing where who was the guy that ended up getting traded to the Colts? He did all right after that, and he was like saying, "I want to talk to my grandma."
He was good,
and they made great light of him for that. But and Philbin is at the meeting there where Ireland says, "Oh yeah, we just traded so and so," and he's like, "Oh really? Oh okay, that's great, right?" No idea. I mean, so you saw like for all of the intense meetings and, all of the importance that they attach to every single thing that goes on there and every detail that's being charted. In the end, they're just like a bunch of clueless bastards that are out there trying to figure out how they can.
I hate that I had to look
at
Vontae
Davis. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I probably clouded your memory there on that one, Lubie. But Vontae Davis, he was like their starting corner.
He was a star. No, he was good. He was really good.
And remember that? I mean, remember that scene in Hard Knocks where Ireland says, "Oh yeah, we just traded Vontae Davis." Joe Philbin's like, "Oh, Okay. And you're thinking, well, there you go. There's a dynamic leader among the coaching staff.
Didn't get pissed. Didn't get
Who's
frustrated.
running this team? Nothing. He had no comment whatsoever. He's like, he didn't even say, like, well, who the fuck am I going to play there? Nothing.
Exactly.
It's like, did you get a Pro Bowl cornerback back, Jeffrey? No.
Exactly.
What did we get back? Bag of football.
Garbage. Got my garbage. Yeah. It was like a joke.
Yeah, unbelievable. So and now with the 3 preseason games, I guess there was a pattern like Tony was talking about yesterday, like sort of an established pattern that you would have your starters in there like one series, maybe you know what they're all going to get 6 plays, which seemed kind of futile. But okay, so they get some of the ring rust out there. They've been practicing anyway, so what's the big deal? You're in a practice game. You go out there and play a few plays. And then, you would see your second team guys come in there. And that was always where the fans would fall in love and the media would fall in love with the backup quarterback.
Yep.
Because, in the first 6 plays, they would hand the ball off. The ball went nowhere. They would not gain any first downs. They were punted both times. And then, the backup would come in there, start throwing the ball a little bit. And you'd say, well, there's a guy that can really play.
Yeah, Scott Mitchell. That's where he was a star.
Right. And so you get completely lost in what the game means, and then the third string guys come in there, and they end up deciding the game. So if you're a poor schmuck who put your money up on this stuff, the game is ultimately being decided by guys that are completely irrelevant to the overall scheme and philosophies of the team. Where the third and fourth quarter are being played in this first week, but by guys that would be very lucky to secure a job in the National Football League for the most part. No. You're talking about amateur hour there, and you're putting your money up on that. And the Greek does it with conviction.
Oh no, he believes in it. I mean, he's sad about his Jaguars pick going way wrong. I mean,
we weren't. We were happy about that. I mean, it illustrated how foolish the entire enterprise is of trying to bet preseason games where we had the Jaguars and the under for you in the Hall of Fame game. We are 0-2, Lubie.
I know.
Here on the program.
But we mock it. He takes it seriously. So he was really upset that he got it wrong. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so you're saying that the general consensus would be that Brian Daboll has something to prove tonight, whereas Bill Belichick doesn't, in terms of winning this ball game, which would be the justification for the odds makers maintaining the Giants as 2.5-point favorites over the Patriots, who are at home tonight.
Wow.
In front of the Chowderheads.
That home field.
Now, would they not be incentivized by the idea that, Mac Jones is going to take a step forward and become this real leader? And I would have to say that Mac Jones impressed me in the preseason last year, whereas you were blind to it because you just hated the idea that Belichick might have found another quarterback. And this was going to plague you to your grave because here was a guy that was going to be in place for another 20 years doing similar things as Tom Brady, Mac Jones. And there was some illustration of that, though, in the preseason last year. I believe there was. There were, you could watch a little bit of Patriot football in the preseason and say, hey, you know what? This kid doesn't look bad. Would you say that's a fair statement in spite of your outrageous prejudice against this guy?
It was great.
What is it that you hated about him? That he went to Alabama?
I mean, average. I mean, look, Bryce Young goes to Alabama. I think he has the potential to be really good. Tua went to Alabama, and I was all over Tua, and I hate Alabama. I think Mac Jones is average. I think he is a clod, and I think his arm strength is it. So, I mean, I think if you give
what
him
do you think of A.J. McCarron, aside from the girlfriend thing with Musburger?
More like whatever.
She was a bombshell, though. You would have to admit that, man. That was one of the hottest babes ever to be sitting in the stands at any sport, including pro beach volleyball, which I think was the epitome of, sports attended by babes. Plus, on top of that, they were all in bikinis.
Playing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, not playing. I mean, if you pan the crowd there and playing, yeah. I don't know that what was it really Babe Central among the players? Not so much. I think you have better looking women's tennis players than you did beach volleyball players, but the crowd, what was stunning. I mean, just and it's California on top of that. Look, it was the type that killed me my entire life. The blue-eyed blonde sitting there in a bathing suit, looking very voluptuous. But no, I mean, outside of that, you would have to say that A.J. McCarron's babe was up there with any babe that was ever in the stands.
She's great looking. I mean, I'm sure Mac Jones does well in the woman department too, but I think he's average. I just think he's an average quarterback. And the second half of the year, I think we saw a lot of that. And now that Devontae Parker is his number one, I think we'll see more.
You think that popped up during the interview? You know how they like to ask all these bizarre questions that with Mac Jones that did he really have an affair with a friend of his mother? Do you think they knew that, the Jets at the time?
Zach Wilson.
Oh, Zach Wilson. Yeah. Mac Jones. No, Mac Jones does everything by the book. What am I talking about? He's Joe Friday when it comes to this stuff.
He's like
studies all day. He is perfect Belichickian in every way that he comports himself and goes about his business. Yep. And that's why I believe that he is the second coming of Tom Brady. I think that's going to happen.
We shall see.
I don't know that he's going to have teams that are as good as Brady had, assembled for him, because that may be a difficult thing after running a dynasty for so many years. Look, at some point in time, do you run out of aces? Belichick has been brilliant. How do you sustain this in the era of the salary cap and free agency to have a team that's on top of its division for like 16 straight years? That's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Cheating aside, even if you think that they were just like blatant cheats, the New England Patriots.
I mean, they were, but even
some spying, Lubie. Come on, man.
I think everyone's trying to cheat, and they were able to cheat and win. People like the Dolphins cheat and lose.
Yeah. So what if they planted a couple of cameras in the other team's training facility? Can't certain indiscretions be overlooked?
They are.
The footballs were as flat as a pancake. Nobody noticed it, though, right? So, it couldn't have been that big of a deal. The officials were handing the balls out there. Even though, who was it? Was it the Colts that were complaining about it?
Colts were the first one to really bring it to light, yeah.
All right. So what if the ball came in and it felt like it was made out of silly putty? At some guy, a nephew of Carl Yastrzemski, right? No, the guy's name was Yastrzemski, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the guys that was, sticking a needle in there and just, okay, Tommy, knees all right?
Whatever.
There's something to be said for that. There really is.
Consistently. Look at the Spurs. Eventually, when Duncan left, they still brought in interesting players. They were not the same. Kawhi Leonard was there, and it just wasn't the same. Like, you can get Mac Jones. He's not Brady. It's just, that's why it was, even with Brady, it was impressive. And that the Spurs and the Patriots were tied because they did it in two sports that it doesn't last. Like, even the Warriors thing, it didn't last. The Bulls don't last. The Lakers don't last. Like, you're not meant to be great for 20 years, and
that's why it's even more remarkable that Belichick was able to pull this off. Now, I don't know that he gets back to that level anytime soon. It doesn't appear that it's heading that direction. Now, will he lose his desire to be on the sidelines? Does he need the job anymore? No. So he obviously really digs doing this. Otherwise, he wouldn't be around. I can't imagine that he needs the money. He's been making big money forever. And who knows what pictures he has of Bobby Kraft based on Kraft's behavior and the fact that, here he was caught blindly in a sting when, they weren't even investigating. Kraft was under no scrutiny whatsoever. And he just walks right into a spider web there.
Just there.
Always embarrassing, yeah. Right. Your name was mentioned in one of the audio tapes that we were taking as we were, investigating something completely different there, Bobby. Incredible. All right, Degenerate Friday tomorrow. We're coming back with more. We'll wrap this one up here. A lot of fun with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Lubie's going to be at Landlubbers tonight. Can anybody just come in and enter a team? If you've never been there before. Yeah?
Yeah, we don't have tons of new teams every week, but we usually get 3 to 5. We'd love to have new people come on out. It's in Plantation, Sunrise Boulevard, and Pine Island. Starts at 6:30. Come check us out, Landlubbers.
Have you had the tuna melt at Landlubbers?
I haven't. I think Sarnie had that. It looked pretty
Sarnie loves it, man. Sarnie loves it.
Yeah.
Sarnie says it's one of the great sandwiches. Now, for some reason, Mike Mayo is going to have the lunchbox at 12 o'clock. He makes a face every time he mentions like if he wants to take a shot at me, he always says, yeah, Mr. Tuna eating DeForest.
I like tuna fish. I don't know. He has
I don't understand, man. Does every sandwich have to be some exotic creation?
Maybe his mom made him eat it every day as a kid, so like he now has weird connection to tuna fish. I don't know. I like tuna fish. It's simple. Tastes good. It fills you
up. Yeah. And on a hoagie, highly underrated. Those Las Panas tuna subs are just dynamite, man. I go for that, even though, I mean, the roast beef is always tempting, right? With that rare roast beef just staring at you in the face.
Nice
And it's
rare.
piled on there. It's just absolutely amazing, the portions and the amount of, stuff they put on there. But the tuna, highly underrated, man. I don't know. Mayo's missing a boat on that. He really is. But the tuna melt, Jim Sarney says at Landlubbers, one of the standout sandwiches anywhere on the planet. And I'm a big fan of the tuna melt, Lubie. So maybe you can pick me one up and bring it up there Friday. It loses its impact if you've had it.
Old tuna melt.
Yeah, an old tuna melt. Right? The tuna sandwich that was in the brown paper bag when those kids used to come to Shea with the Borden's coupons always left a little oil stain on the bag. I don't know. You didn't experience this era where you used to bring your lunch to school
No.
in a little brown paper bag and it was a
Yeah, we
tuna
had a
sandwich
lunchbox.
and it always left a little oil stain on the bag. And that was, a sure sign. You would, go up to, the kids that had that feature and just say, tuna? And they go, yeah, that's what my mom made. And, it was almost like you could bet the guy, hey, $1, I can guess what kind of sandwich you have in that bag. Just grab that guy's buck. All right, coming back with more in a moment. Preseason football on tap tonight. How excited are you, people? I'm not sensing it.
No, they're not. I
I'm
am.
not feeling the love for the preseason.
Cerny said he was passing out until Cecilia stole the show because we're talking preseason. I'm excited about it. It will let me down, but I'm excited now.
All right.
Tonight, I'll be like, what the hell is this?
I'm not sure, how much of it I'll watch. I'm sure I'll get into some of it just to get the hang again of NFL football being on TV on a somewhat nightly basis. All right, coming back to wrap things up in a moment here. Now that. It's 8:51. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
People don't like being lied to. That's always the thing. With Pete Rose, if he had just said, of course I bet the Reds. What are you talking about? I had money on every game. We know you did, Pete. It's all right. I mean, now it would be accepted. In fact, they would have, it's only a matter of time before the manager of the two teams is asked who he likes in the game. All right, we're going down on the field there. We got Tony LaRussa. Tony, what do you think tonight? White Sox minus 135? Well, we're going to go to the pen right away, and I'm going to make like 7 righty-lefty switches at inappropriate times, and I'm going to wear out my bullpen. In fact, all of these guys worked in the game last night, so I would think this. I would take the points, take the runs, and take the price on the Boston Red Sox tonight to beat us. I would not lay 135 to win 100 on the Chicago White Sox. Okay, thanks, Tony. Let's go to Alex Cora. Cora, what do you got? Well, we got all our heavy hitters at the beginning of the lineup tonight, and they really pound this White Sox pitcher the last time he was out there. So I would think that we're a good bet, money line, straight up. When's that going to happen? I mean, that's going to be part of the pregame shows now.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show here on this fine Thursday. Great to be with you. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz on South Florida Live. Mike Mayo, 12 o'clock today with the Lunchbox. He's going to be on the road with Mike Lubie Lubitz. Name of the place again where you guys are going to be appearing with Nicky Mohan.
Nirin's Kitchen, Nirin_S in Deerfield Beach.
Deerfield Beach. Okay, very nice. And that's going to be from 12 to 1 here on South Florida Live. And then later on, you can hear it on the radio, a variety of stations. Which a friend of mine, I was playing tennis the other night with Dr. Jerry, and he says he catches the show on the FM on the way back. He leaves work often very late, and that he listens to the show there on its various radio platforms as well. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Although you lose the visual of Mayo stuffing his face with a variety of sandwiches here.
Well, you have to watch it. He dives. He and Nicky Mohan jump into food in a way I've never seen.
Yeah.
People. I usually, especially the big sandwiches. I'll analyze and go, where do I go? It's huge. Yeah. He just goes. He doesn't care. Oof.
This be an interesting distinction, too, that you'll be able to make from a culinary standpoint this afternoon, because the restaurant is based on food from Laos.
Yes.
Right? Which, obviously is a country that we're familiar with from our days, unfortunately, following the Vietnam War. But, it's there, and it's a kind of a Thai type of cuisine.
Yep.
But with its own different, idiosyncrasies, extrapolations, however you want to put it, uniqueness. And, and of course, I don't know, does it differ that much from Cambodian food? What would be Cambodian?
I don't know. I've never had
a Cambodian restaurant? Because that's one of my biggest fears of being a degenerate, obviously, is when they bring in the dealer from Cambodia. You couldn't be from Pennsylvania or something, fool? PHU from Cambodia. You see that on the name tag? Wow. Exit. Don't even think that you can get over for a second on these people. Don't even think it. When you're in there against the cooler and you're about to get destroyed, you're getting destroyed. You're not going to win.
Don't be brazen.
It's not like you're Matt Damon in Rounders, which I watched again for the zillionth time last night. Brilliant movie. Can't believe Mayo knows the guy that wrote that thing. That was a brilliant piece of cinematography there, and tremendous presentation of the game and the mentality of the degenerate from a number of different angles. Absolutely fantastic. But it's just one of those things where you're saying to yourself, how much better can it get? As a degenerate than to be in there one-on-one with KGB with your life on the line. Perfect, right? Right out of James Caan and The Gambler. All right, a lot of fun being with you all morning long. We'll have our reviews of the preseason games tomorrow on our Degenerate Friday show, with the professor also being on board with another edition of the Big Board. And then Mike Mayo will join us as the Gambling Gourmet. No doubt with your review as well of this Laotian restaurant that you guys are going to be featuring today. And you can see all of the stuff live. Now, if you haven't caught Nicky Mohan on the show, she's a hoot every Thursday.
She's great. Yeah, she's so fun.
Yeah. And usually you get a lot of insight into these places. I mean, I have nothing but great respect for these people that can make it in the restaurant business. Not an easy job. I mean, if you think this one's tough, it'd be pretty hard to get a restaurant off the ground, would it not?
Well, and that's what I like about these is we get the actual proprietors to sit down, tell their story. And literally we've now done, is it 10 places? I don't know. We've done enough and everyone's story is different. And they're all interesting and entertaining. Just the idea of where they came from to where they are now. And the fact that all these restaurants made it through COVID in different ways to be even stronger now. It's really impressive. That's why I really would look forward to these Visit Lauderdale Thursdays.
How would you feel about this one? I was in a place last night. I like the place enough that I really don't want to slam them for this, but it's not uncommon to have them screw up an order. Okay.
I hate that.
But this guy, gave us a check that was erroneous when we had ordered a beer and a club soda.
That was it?
order a beer and a club soda, right? So comes and a club soda is my son's drinking this because he's on some new fakakta diet that he's on. And once he gets dedicated to this stuff, he's really dedicated. So he's not drinking. He's not having a soda. He's having a club soda. But they bring him a glass full of tonic, which would kill the whole concept of what he was trying to do in terms of this body cleansing. So he takes a sip. He says, "I think this is tonic." He sends it back. All right. Now the guy brings him a Perrier, which is fine. All right. Could have done that in the first place. So that would have been okay. So now we order another round. Okay. I get a second beer and he gets a Perrier later on. But when he orders this second Perrier, the guy thinks that I also ordered a third beer, which I did. So now he's already brought us a tonic instead of the club soda. He has delivered an extra beer to the table, which I wasn't sure if he was going to charge me for or not. But I did say, "Hey, I didn't order this," and he gave me a look. On top of that, a look. All right. So now, I mean, and I don't care. I'm in a good mood. I'm not like going to get all fetchy about a waiter. He seemed like a new guy. I don't know. Maybe he was on meth or something. I'm not sure what it was that was plaguing him, but he wasn't getting this right. So now he's brought me 3 beers, and he kind of gives me a look. And I said, "Well, I didn't really order this, and I don't need it because I still had a full glass of my second beer. I hadn't even touched it yet."
What would you want?
So he gives me a look, and he says, "Oh, you know what? Just keep it." Kind of like with a little edge to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get a check then for like $19 for the 2 Perriers and the 2 beers, and then I noticed he didn't charge me for the third beer, but he did charge us for this erroneous glass of tonic water, which we had sent back in the first place. That started this whole mess.
Oh God.
So that all came to $19. So I gave the guy $30.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Look, do yourself a favor. I mean, you should have lopped this off the check.
Yeah.
And put the $3 in your pocket or whatever it was for this tonic water." But that was the simplest of orders: 2 beers and 2 Perrier waters.
Yeah.
That went through like 5 different malfunctions and never was corrected, and ended up costing me $30. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a lot for 4 drinks at like a local bar.
2 of them for water, essentially.
You're not in South Beach.
But you're wondering how is it possible to screw up an order like that? It's almost impossible, is it not? I mean, I understand the circumstances. The first thing came out; it was on the check. It was supposed to be club soda. It wasn't. The guy forgot to take it off. But crazy. That's the kind of stuff that drives that Let's Eat South Florida page.
It does, yes.
Absolutely nuts. Now, would I go back there again? Yeah, I'll be back there again.
Yeah, okay.
Am I overwhelmingly upset about it? No. I took care of the guy. Look, I would have taken care of him anyway. So, that's just the way it is because, we also feel like, I don't know if people feel this way. I mean, we're at the guy's table. It wasn't that busy and we're not eating, I mean, our check's going to be nothing. We're going to sit there for an hour. So, throw the guy a little extra grease, right? I'm all about that. All right, we'll come back at 12 o'clock. You will anyway, with Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Mickey Mohan, Mike Lubie Lubitz, and Mike Mayo from the name of the restaurant again?
Nearin's Kitchen. It's right there. Nearin's Kitchen.
Okay.
In Deerfield Beach.
Check that out. And then tomorrow we're with Tommy T there at Tom's Louisiana Kitchen by Noble Brewery in Boynton Beach, which is a schlep, but I think it's going to be worth it. So you're invited to come on out and see us there as well. All right, we'll see you later on with Kyle Petty. That's coming up in just a few, I guess a couple of hours. It'll be up on our
11 o'clock,
podcast.
Yes, sir.
11 o'clock. And we'll see you tomorrow at 7 right here with the Defo Show, a Degenerate Friday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:03.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.